Hello, and welcome to another episode of The End of the Search. This one I call it Surrendering to Awareness. Let's do a little investigation here because what I want you is to notice the fact that you are awareness by doing a little bit of an exercise here. Okay? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. And I'm going to hold a watch here, my phone, for a minute, okay? And I'm going to ask you to notice the thoughts. But more importantly, I want you to notice how you can listen to them, okay? And then we're going to continue with the exercise. So anyhow, close your eyes. And just notice the thoughts. See if you can hear them. Okay, you can open your eyes now. Did you notice that you could hear the thoughts? It's funny, right? They were not sounding like a noise or a sound that you hear right now when you use the ears, but you could see them and you could hear them. Okay, now, right now, you are hearing my voice. You see? But with the thoughts, when just pure imagination, you could hear them as well. The only thing is that with the imagination, with your eyes closed, it seemed as though the hearing was internally, and now, as you're listening to these words, it seems as though the hearing is external. It comes from outside. Okay, so that 1 minute you spend watching the thoughts that would come up, because you didn't have to look for them, they just showed up, and hearing them. And right now that you seems to be perceiving me and hearing my voice, what was the difference between the imagining and the seeming real experience right now? What is the difference? The truth is that the mind would say the difference is that one was imagined and this is reality. That seems to be the difference. That's how the mind sells the story. Now, here's the key. What do they both have in common? What they have in common is that you were aware of both. In other words, not you as a person, but there was awareness of both. Can we agree on that? There was awareness of the thoughts and the seeming sound of the thoughts, and there's also awareness of the experience that seems to be taking place right now. In other words, the capacity of being aware of both is there. Well, that awareness is where this information points to. That awareness never changes. And you are that. Actually, you are that in which even awareness seems to appear, but I need to go step by step here. You are that awareness. You are aware of the thoughts and the sound of the thoughts in the imagination, and you're also aware of this experience right now. So there is awareness. There's a capacity of being aware. Can we agree on that? And you can tell that this awareness is not the thoughts, because when the thoughts went away, the awareness remains. See, the awareness was busy with the thoughts you had during the minute or so, and now that same awareness is here, aware of this experience. If the awareness would have been the thoughts you had when you were imagining, you could not be able to have this experience right now, because the awareness would have been gone. But it's not gone. The awareness remains while the different or seeming changes seems to appear. One was, for a minute you were just watching the thoughts with your eyes closed, and now you're here with your seeming eyes open, listening to this. But this can only be experienced because of the capacity of being aware. Without the capacity of being aware, you could not be able to be the experience of the thoughts when your eyes were closed, and the experience right now could not be. It's impossible. Be non-existing. So there has to be awareness, the capacity of knowing, in order for this experience, as well as the one with the eyes closed, to have to take place. It's like the dream. The dream cannot be without the mind that is dreaming it. You see? So without the mind that is dreaming it, the dream could not exist. Well, the capacity of being aware, the capacity of register this experience could not take place without the awareness, the capacity of being aware, or awareness. And you are that awareness. Now, let me ask you this. That awareness, was it affected at all or troubled by the time you spend a minute with your imagination and your thoughts? The awareness. No, right? Okay. That same awareness, is it being affected right now by whatever I say or whatever that can be perceived? And the answer is no. It's like the mind that is dreaming the dream. Can the mind be affected by the content of the dream? And the answer is no. Well, you are that awareness. Again, you are that in which even awareness seems to appear, but we need to go with whatever you can digest. And right now, what is practical with this, you are that awareness always. And that never changes. That awareness is what is referred to as the peace that surpasses all understanding. So, surrendering to that awareness, so to speak, is a surrendered life. Now, the mind says, but if I surrender my life, I cannot do things, I cannot pursue anything, I will be like a doormat, like a vegetable. But you see, here's what I want you to notice. We're going to do the exercise again, so you can have the direct experience of what we're pointing to. For 1 minute again, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and notice the thoughts. Begin now. Just notice the thoughts that appear. Okay, you can open your eyes now. Did you notice that the thoughts appeared and you did not choose them? You didn't choose the thoughts you were going to think. They just appear, didn't they? Well, so is life. Life is unfolding spontaneously. You're not choosing the actions, nor the thoughts, nor the events. And in the same way that life is unfolding, you'll find yourself acting accordingly, according to life plan or life unfoldment. But when you believe you're the thoughts, you find yourself identified with them, and you find yourself paying the consequence of that identification. But when you know that you are awareness, now life is a play that unfolds and you're not affected by the play. You see? And you cannot negate the fact that awareness is. Right now you cannot not be aware. You cannot not be. Well, surrendering to that awareness, it doesn't mean that you're going to be a doormat or a vegetable. It implies that you're going to be more like a witness of life as it unfolds, rather than feeling like the victim of a happening that you think that is happening to you, but it's not really happening to you. If anything, would be happening in you. You see? Nothing is happening to you, it's happening in you. When you're sleeping and you're dreaming, nothing is happening to the mind. It is happening in the mind, because the mind is the source of the dream. Well, awareness, or that, put it this way, is the source of awareness, which in tail is the source of everything that seems to appear and disappear. And you are that. You are that in which everything seems to appear and disappear, like the fourth book of the series. I am in which everything seems to appear and disappear. Well, this is where these videos are pointing to. And the investigation, like we did already, shows beyond the shadow of a doubt that I am. Not that I am my thoughts. Because if I was my thoughts, when the thoughts disappear, I would disappear too. I simply am. And this is why in the end it all points to silence. The silence is not the absence of noise, it's the absence of the identification. Right now you are. The silence is in which even the noise, or what we label noise, appears. When your eyes were closed, the thoughts appeared, you could hear them, but they were appearing in what? In that silence. I gotta make a quick intervention right here. As I was watching the video, in order to make it ready for uploading, I was doing the exercise, the 1 minute exercise. And what I noticed is that during that minute, it seemed as though no thoughts were appearing. So if you found yourself in that situation, it's not going to affect the message, because in your daily life you notice how thoughts do appear. But in this particular case, I noticed that if you have been doing it for a minute and you have found that no thoughts were appearing, it's just that for that minute was not enough for you. Maybe you will need a little longer time in order for thoughts to appear, and you can really get what I'm talking here. But anyhow, if you didn't have any thoughts, no big deal. I'm pretty sure that the message is going to come out crystal clear. Having said that, continue with the video. Right now, this seeming interaction, because I'm not interacting with you, but indirectly, it seems as though, because of there's a camera in between or so. But this seeming interaction is happening where? Or seems to be happening where? In that silence. You see? And now you can move through life with this awareness, with this consciousness. I don't know what to call it. And that's how you can smile more often. Because you don't take the details of the movie so seriously. They're just simply seeming happenings, but they seem to happen in you, not to you. Not in you as an individual, again, but as awareness. And the invitation here is to never lose sight of the fact that awareness is what you are. And I know these videos are paradoxical. I can say this, and if awareness or that wants to play the game of hide and seek within itself, well, it may find itself caught up in its own dream, no big deal. But right now, in the play, is playing the role of information that is pointing to the recognition of the fact that I am. Right now, can you say you are not? You see, you are. This is the I am. And now the details are irrelevant. Thoughts, feelings, sensations, seeming appearances, all of that seems to appear, and yet you remain as I am. I remain as I am. Or I am is all there is. Or I, or am, it doesn't matter. The sense of being, this is all that there is. And just watch the play unfold as it's going to unfold anyway. But by not believing the content of the mind, you walk through the valley of the shadow of a death, but there is no fear. Because there's no shadow, there's no valley, there's no death, it's all imagination. And you remain as you are. So right now, this is it. This is it. Just as it is. Nothing has to be changed. Nothing has to be judged. It's all perfect just as it is. Unless the mind suggests otherwise. Unless the thought believed in suggests otherwise. If you don't believe the thoughts, the content of the mind, all that remains is pure awareness. An invitation here is just to surrender to pure awareness. Being. And that is the peace, is the happiness that have always been. That simply has been overlooked. But now there's an opportunity to rest in that again. That's what is referred to as rest in thee. Rest in love. Rest in God. Rest in peace. I am. And well, this is inspiration that came through. I hope it served. And as always, may peace permeate the mind so that love can become evident.